Well, it is Tuesday, which means we get a visit from our favorite entertainment reporter. Here to tell us about a few movies coming out next week is our very own Jim Ferguson. How are you, Jim?
I'm doing great. How are you, Heather?
I am great. It's always such a pleasure to spend a little time with you.
Oh,
my necklace.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Yeah. You know, normally we don't do producers, but when it's Jerry Buckheimer, who's a graduate of the University of Arizona, we have to talk to Jerry Buckheimer. He's probably, and I introduced him as the most successful TV and feature film producer in the world.
Definitely.
You know, this guy has done everything. And of course, his new one is Deliver Us from Evil, which he's going to talk about right now. And it sat on the shelf for about 7 years, and he read the book and he liked it. And now it's a movie. But listen, he did The Lone Ranger, Top Gun, Beverly Hills Cop, Pirates of the Caribbean, CSI and TV, CSI Miami and New York, Cold Case, Without a Trace, the movie Pearl Harbor. That's just the tip of the iceberg with Jerry Buckheimer.
Incredible.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Here he is for Deliver Us from Evil.
Perfect.
Welcome back to Arizona, one of your favorite states.
Absolutely.
And
my alma mater.
Your alma mater, right. And mine too, the University of Arizona. And we are proud to have you, one of the most successful producers in television and feature films in the world. And it's an honor to sit here with you.
Thank you, Jim. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
You know, we've done this so many times over the years, and I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, you've always been interested in stories that are based on fact.
Right.
Interesting stories.
Right.
Not stories that are based on fact. This one, Deliver Us from Evil, certainly is that. Would you agree?
Absolutely. You know, it's based on a real sergeant from New York Police Department in the Bronx at the 4-6 precinct. He was like a rock star there when we went back to scout locations, even though he's been retired. But the cases, he was a real tough detective and got involved in these paranormal cases that were kind of riveting and scary and something we wanted to bring to the public.
It's more than a supernatural thriller, I think, because you get into this philosophy of evil and primary evil.
Right. And good versus evil.
And good versus evil, a lot of that, you know. You had to be proud of the cast.
Oh, it's great. Edgar Ramirez, Eric is fantastic. Olivia Munn, you know, Joel is great, Joel McHale. So we really got lucky. We, you know, Scott Derrickson put together a great cast. And just this whole idea of what cops go through. Comment quickly on the Bronx Zoo scenes. Yeah, that is a scary sequence. I mean, I jump out of my seat in that scene. So,
oh my God.
And I think we're the first film ever to shoot there. So that was quite an honor that allowed us into the Bronx Zoo.
That's what he said. And Joel said actually when he shot that the merry-go-round, he said he was scared.
I'm sure he was. Yeah. I was scared.
Jim, that looks terrifying.
And you'll be scared too.
Well, I'm not a big scary movie buff anyway, but just the graphic behind him as he was speaking was, enough to get my palms sweating a little.
It's pretty scary. Based on true events, by the way.
Oh, no. Another reason that...
And on Friday we have Eric Bana, who plays the cop who actually ended up writing the book about this experience.
Really? Yeah. Okay, but now the next movie we have to talk about.
Let's go to a light comedy.
I'm so excited because these are two of my favorite actresses.
A light comedy, finally.
Yeah.
Of course, it's Melissa, who is very, very funny. Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
And she's the star, and you can see in this little clip. Now, she goes on a road trip with her grandma, played by Susan Sarandon, and they go into this little roadhouse type of place, and they try to pick up these two farmers, played by Gary Cole and Mark Duplass. Mark Duplass is a comedian, Gary Cole from The Good Wife and The Brady Bunch and a whole bunch of things. And they have a lot of fun with these two guys and these two crazy women, okay? Here is Gary Cole and Mark Duplass, who get picked up by Melissa. Well, Mark and Gary, good to see you guys. And as a grandfather, how nice to see a comedy about a grandmother and a granddaughter on a road trip that go through all kinds of adventures. I really enjoyed it.
Good, great. Yeah, well, you don't usually focus on the grandparent.
The grandparent, I know.
This time we do, even though it's Susan Sarandon, who you can never think of as a grandparent.
And of course, Susan and Sarandon is the grandmother, and Melissa McCarthy is the granddaughter. And on their adventure, they go into a kind of a country roadhouse or a restaurant, and they run into Earl and Bobby.
They do.
It's one of their
Their lives are forever changed.
Their lives are forever.
I would say Earl runs into Pearl. I'd say that's the
I
most
guess so,
accurate
yeah. I
description.
guess we, yeah.
And then Bobby is caught in the middle.
That's right.
Of this situation. Yeah.
I think it's, we've all been in that scenario at some point where you're at a bar and one of your friends wants to meet one of those other friends, and then you are caught talking to the other person that you're not too interested in being with. And I think that that's how Bobby and Tammy start out. And Tammy's she's a character. She's not someone who is quite frankly easy to like off the bat. And I think part of the fun of this film and part of Bobby's journey is discovering that originality and that uniqueness and in many ways that kind of beauty that Tammy has to her.
I think your character sees her as a train wreck with a good heart.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah.
Susan said I just talked to her, Susan Sarandon, and she said she really enjoyed the dance scenes with you, and that how nice you were to work with. She just went on and on about this guy.
Well, that's good to hear.
Wait,
Right back to her.
Wait, she was talking about Gary?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
That's really strange. I found him awful to work
Did
with.
you?
So, yeah, I don't know.
that's how I treated him.
Yeah.
Friday, we have Melissa will be here.
Excellent.
Melissa McCarthy. She's going to be here, her whole body.
I cannot wait. That is so cool.
And Eric Bana, of course, the star of Deliver Us from Evil, the very scary movie that you won't see, I know. But we have both of them. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Jim, always a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you so much. And now let's get some travel trends for the summer. Amanda?